warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Napa Dumulyaningrum. I want to explain about active passive voice. Definition: active voice. Active voice is a sentence whose subject is doing something or doing a job. In Indonesian, the characteristic of active sentence are that the verb always start with me and some have the perfect verb. In this active voice, we simply use the basic form of the verb in the preparation of the sentence. Passive voice. Passive voice is a grammatical construction, specifically a voice, the noun word of phrase that will be the object of the active sentence, appears as the subject of the sentence with the passive voice. In Indonesian, passive sentence are usually followed by a prefix in the form of the or the. For example, if the active sentence step on, the passive sentence become hit or carried. Formula and example active passive voice. Active voice formula. Subject plus verb plus object. Example: I eat a pear. Passive voice formula. Subject plus be plus passive participle plus be agent. Yang dimaksud be agent adalah perilaku dari tindakan. Example: a pear is eat by me. Selanjutnya, contohnya, Dean sing a song. Itu adalah termasuk kalimat active voice. Yang kedua, a song is sung by Dean. Itu adalah kalimat passive voice. We can see that the active voice and passive voice sentence structure are different. Meanwhile, the meaning of the sentence, whether expressed in an active voice or a passive voice, remain the same. Difference between active voice and passive voice. The main meaning of or idea of a sentence, whether it is in the form of an active voice or a passive voice, does not change, but the structure is different. We know that sentence usually consists of an object, a verb, and an object. The subject is the party who does something to the object of the sentence. From the example of the active voice sentence above, then is the subject in the sentence that does something to the object song of the same sentence. To understand the difference between the two voices, focus on the subject and object of the two sentences. In active voice, the subject of the sentence performs an action on the object of the sentence, whereas in passive voice, something is done to the object by the subject. The meaning remains the same in both voices, but the word order atau subject and object change. Placement of subject and object in active voice will be swapped is changed to passive voice. Characteristic of voice active and passive voice. Active voice. Yang pertama, in the active sentence, the subject perform an action that is directly related to the object. Second, active sentence have a SPOK or SPK pattern. The predicate of active sentence always begin with the suffix me or be. Third, active sentence require an object after getting the subject, predicate plus a complement or description. Passive voice. First, to be plus verb 3 and the word by. This word is not a condition that must exist in the passive voice. Second, what can be used an passive sentence is verbal sentence. 3. Verbal sentence that can be changed to passive voice are sentences that have a server object. Then, kapan kamu akan menggunakan passive voice? In general, passive voice seem more formal and elegant than active voice, but have certain drawbacks, such as being less direct, so that impact given by writing is not too big. Passive voice is also not suitable for sentences that contain too much information because it will sound ambiguous. So, when should passive voice be used? Yang pertama, ketika subjek atau aktor dari sebuah kalimat itu tidak diketahui. Contohnya, the cave paintings found in Sulawesi were made in around Stone Age. Yang kedua, ketika subjek atau aktor tidak relevan. Contohnya, a large dam will be built in that river. Ketiga, ketika Anda tidak ingin menyebutkan subjek dengan jelas. Contohnya, mistakes were made. Yang keempat, ketika Anda sedang membahas tentang kebenaran mutlak. Contohnya, rules are made to be broken. Yang kelima, Anda ingin menekankan orang atau benda yang menjadi target kegiatan. Dan yang keenam, Anda sedang menulis tulisan saintifik yang secara tradisional lebih memilih menggunakan passive voice. Kemudian, kapan kamu akan menggunakan active voice? Yang pertama, if the writing you make has high urgency and must be easy to understand and fast in processing. For example, instruction, prohibition, dan lain-lain. Yang kedua, passive sentence has a rather vague character, besides that it takes a long time to digest, so it is now starting to be avoided in scientific work because it tends to give the impression of twisting or hiding fact. Yang ketiga, if you need to save writing space such as advertisement in newspaper. Yang keempat, if your writing contains a lot of vague for variable, you should avoid using the passive voice. Thank you for watching and listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.